Have you ever opened your eyes after a dream so vivid, so lifelike, that you could swear the person you saw, someone who has already passed, was right there beside you? Imagine if I told you that, according to Edgar Cayce's extensive psychic readings, these experiences aren't just fragments of memory or wishful thinking, but genuine spiritual interactions happening for three distinct reasons he uncovered across more than 14,000 documented sessions. Today, on Beyond the Twist, we're going to dive deep into what the sleeping prophet revealed about death, consciousness, and the subtle ways departed souls reach out to us through dreams. By the end of this journey, you'll understand the documented cases where Cayce exposed the real truth behind these dream visitations, the precise conditions that allow them, and the one warning sign he insisted you could never ignore when someone who has crossed over appears in your sleep. But first, let me ask you this: have you ever had a dream about someone who has passed on that felt unlike any ordinary dream? A dream so heavy, so clear, that it lingered with you for days, leaving an impression that something profound had occurred? If that resonates with you, you're about to uncover why, and what it means for your spiritual journey. Edgar Cayce, known as America's sleeping prophet, conducted his work from his home in Virginia Beach, entering deep trance states where he offered readings that astonished even the most skeptical observers. Every word he spoke was meticulously recorded by his stenographer, Gladys Davis, creating an archive unparalleled in spiritual history, an archive that the Association for Research and Enlightenment still preserves to this day. Time and again, people came to Cayce asking about dreams of deceased relatives, friends, and even strangers. And his responses consistently challenged everything conventional psychology teaches about grief, the subconscious, and the mysteries of the mind. Yet, perhaps the most astonishing revelation came during a reading in 1925, reading 136-18, where Cayce explained that the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds becomes thinnest while we sleep. In that state, he said, windows of communication open, portals through which the departed can reach us with intention, clarity, and purpose. And here's the truth that surprises many: the dead do not appear randomly in our dreams. According to Cayce, they come for three very specific reasons, and understanding these reasons can completely transform how you interpret every dream visitation you've ever experienced. The first reason, documented in readings such as 5756-4, is what Cayce called transmission of guidance. At moments when we stand at life's crossroads, uncertain or overwhelmed, deceased loved ones may appear to offer direction from a higher spiritual perspective. Freed from physical limitations, souls gain access to what Cayce referred to as the Akashic Records, a vast spiritual archive containing insight into life paths, choices, and lessons that they couldn't perceive while alive. We'll explore the mechanics of this guidance in just a moment, but first, let me share a striking example of the second reason behind dream visitations, one that even astonished Cayce's closest collaborators. In 1928, a woman named Rebecca Thompson from Norfolk, Virginia, sought a reading because she kept experiencing a recurring dream of her deceased mother. In each dream, her mother appeared distressed, pointing insistently to a particular corner of the family home. Reading 1472 revealed that her mother was attempting to communicate about unfinished earthly matters, specifically a set of hidden documents located precisely where she had been pointing. This brings us to the second reason for dream visitations, the completion of unresolved earthly attachments. Souls who pass suddenly, or with strong emotional ties to specific earthly concerns, may reach out through dreams to help settle matters left incomplete. And the astonishing part? When Rebecca investigated the corner her mother indicated, she discovered the long-missing family documents, papers that resolved a property dispute haunting her family for years. But Cayce's insights go even deeper, touching on consciousness itself. In reading 254-68, one of his most profound examinations of the afterlife, Cayce explained that consciousness does not end with death, but expands into what he called the borderland, a spiritual domain where souls can perceive the needs of the living and work to provide comfort, warnings, or encouragement through dream communication. This introduces the third reason for dream visitations: spiritual comfort and emotional healing. Souls who have transitioned often sense the grief, anxiety, or confusion of those left behind and appear in dreams to bring reassurance, peace, and spiritual energy. Now, here's where it becomes even more fascinating. Cayce also revealed why some people experience these dreams while others don't. In reading 262-28, he explained that our ability to receive dream communications hinges on what he called spiritual attunement. This isn't about being psychic in the traditional sense, it's about cultivating inner stillness through meditation, prayer, or reflective practice, clearing the mental static that can block spiritual signals. Many people start experiencing vivid dreams of departed loved ones only after adopting spiritual habits like daily meditation or prayer. These practices, Cayce said, tune consciousness to higher frequencies where communication with the departed naturally occurs. But Cayce also issued a critical warning, one that anyone who dreams of the dead must know. In readings including 136-83, he cautioned that not every dream apparition is truly a loved one. Lower, confused entities can sometimes masquerade as familiar faces, feeding off emotional energy or sowing fear. The way to discern the difference. Authentic visitations always carry love, clarity, and peace. Even when guidance or warnings are given, they never compel, frighten, or push you toward harmful choices. A vivid example comes from a 1932 reading. A man from Richmond reported nightly dreams of his deceased father, demanding he quit his job and give away his possessions. The dreams left him anxious and confused. Reading 1598-1 confirmed this was not his father, but a confused earthbound spirit. True communication, Cayce explained, would feel clear, calm, and loving, never coercive. Even more remarkable is how these dream teachings tie into Cayce's prophecies about humanity's spiritual evolution. He predicted that, as humanity enters what he called a new age of spiritual awakening, dream contact between the physical and spiritual realms would become increasingly common. He foresaw a time when the veil between dimensions would thin, allowing ordinary people to experience this communication naturally. Keep in mind, Cayce made these predictions decades before spiritual practices, meditation, and psychic experiences became mainstream. Today, millions engage with these practices daily, confirming what Cayce foresaw almost a century ago. And Cayce didn't just predict, he gave instructions. He revealed specific methods for preparing oneself to receive clearer dream communication. In reading 262-9, he recommended keeping a dream journal, practicing regular meditation, and living according to spiritual ideals like love, service, and integrity. These steps, he explained, create the ideal conditions for authentic spiritual communication. Consider the case of Sarah Mitchell from Virginia Beach in 1934. She had grieved her husband's sudden death for over 2 years without a single dream visitation. Reading 1847-1 instructed her to begin each day with meditation, sending love to her husband's soul, and to end each day by journaling about how she tried to live according to higher spiritual principles. Within 3 weeks, she experienced a profound dream in which her husband appeared radiant and peaceful, thanking her for her love and offering guidance on a business decision, a decision that later proved financially successful. Cayce taught that such encounters are not mere comfort, they are lessons. They help both the departed soul and the living advance spiritually, reinforcing what he called soul groups, collections of spirits who reincarnate together across lifetimes, supporting each other's growth. Dream communication is, in other words, natural and purposeful, a continuation of connection across realms. At the core of Cayce's work is the Akashic Records, a universal archive containing every soul's actions, thoughts, and experiences across time. From this vantage, death is not an end, but a transition into another layer of consciousness. Dream visitations are not supernatural anomalies, they are a natural expression of love and continued interaction between consciousnesses. Thousands of Cayce's readings, including predictions about world events, health, and metaphysical truths, have been verified. If his work proved accurate across such a vast spectrum, it lends enormous credibility to his teachings on dream communication with the departed. He envisioned a world where these interactions would one day become as commonplace as using a phone. He even outlined a dream preparation ritual in reading 281-13, set your intention before sleep, hold it with calm prayer or meditation, and then release attachment or desperation. Emotional clinging, he warned, blocks spiritual frequencies, while calm intention opens the channels. One final example demonstrates the practical impact of these teachings. In 1936, Dr. William Henderson, a Kentucky physician, dreamed repeatedly of his deceased medical professor, who would appear in Henderson's clinic, nodding or shaking his head toward specific patients. Initially skeptical, Henderson soon noticed a pattern: patients indicated positively by the professor healed well, while those indicated negatively developed complications. Reading 1923-1 confirmed the professor was actively guiding him from the spiritual realm, continuing his earthly work. Cayce's readings portray the afterlife not as a place of rest or judgment, but a realm of ongoing growth, service, and connection. Souls remain active, helping, guiding, and loving. And one ultimate truth permeates his teachings: consciousness is independent of the brain. It uses the brain while the body is alive but continues fully after death. Your connections, relationships, and bonds don't vanish, they simply communicate differently, and dreams are one channel of that continued connection. This perspective brings profound peace to those grieving. Death becomes a transition, not a severance. Cayce also emphasized that every act of spiritual growth, meditation, compassion, forgiveness, attunement, contributes to humanity's collective evolution. Each person who develops sensitivity to dream communications builds bridges of consciousness that elevate us all. His readings consistently remind us, we are eternal spiritual beings temporarily inhabiting physical forms. And through dreams, the departed reaffirm that truth. So next time someone you love appears in your dreams, pay attention. Notice the peace they bring. Listen to their guidance. And remember what Edgar Cayce revealed: these encounters are not random, not imaginary, not illusions. They are part of a spiritual conversation that never ends. Your loved ones have not forgotten you. They are present, aware, and connected, waiting for you to develop the spiritual attunement needed to hear them.